Getting back into it, another day. Another weekend. We've done a fair bit on it. Real hard to film the time lapses on a couple of reasons. A, my batteries have been overheating and expanding because it's been so hot in the shed. And two, we've kind of been limited for space, so it's very hard to film, like putting mud guards and stuff on, because you can't really set the camera up to the side or anything like that. But we managed to get, I showed you this when we had it all vice gripped up, but we managed to get that tacked on. All this will have to be taken off so I can get welded down there to that little piece that you've seen us make, that little wedge piece. So all the Teflon will have to get taken off. We're just about today, I've cut a couple of pieces at 140 mil wide that's gonna get bended and tacked up there and welded on. I still have to cut all the pieces for the inside because that's all gonna be boxed in. And George is just showing you, this is a 6 mil plate, cut into 100 mil high tensile plate, cut into 100 mil strips that we drilled a hole every 200 for decoration purposes. And then between every third 200 hole in the middle, we've cut out a piece, sort of like a handle or a tie down point or something. And we're gonna have 32 mil tube, alley tube, run the full length of that on top. 2.1 meters along the front of the trailer here, and then another 2.3 length down the side. So that took a little bit of time to make all this, but had to cut all these out. So yeah, that's it. What do you reckon, George? Gonna look good? On the top here, this is where Winch is going to be mounted. We've cut the 10 mil plate, 160 by 10 mil plate, and then we've cut it with a little bit of overhang on either side. That's where the winch will get mounted. We've got, that's that 140 wide piece of 4 mil. Oh, I'll take that off.
It's all going to get boxed in.
There you go. Have a look at that. Nice ramp shape at the front there. I'm just about to run over to the table and cut out the first template for the step. And we're going to have a look at that as soon as we got this all. This has got a little bit of a lean to it. So we'll have to, we're going to have to, if you look at it, it's not dead straight. So we're just going to have to push that across just about 10-20 mil, straighten that up and get all this boxed in. So that'll take a little bit of time this morning. When that's tacked on, we'll cut out template to the step, see how that looks, box all that in the middle there, get that 10 mil plate on top, level that up. So that's this morning's job, and then once that's all done, it's sort of a big day of welding. This afternoon, we've got heaps of welding to get through, so all our mud guards need to be welded. All this has to be welded when it's all tacked on. So there's a couple of bits and pieces to finish off on the front here, on the drawbar. Just to get that straight, we've just tacked on a little bit of 50 by 25 mil box to the trailer. While we box up this section here, that'll keep it dead straight for us, and then when it's all boxed up, it shouldn't move back. This little curve piece put in, and this big curve piece put in. A few clamps, a few rulers, just to make sure we got corner to corner for a nice weld, and then to sand it off. So that's all in there nice. So we just tacked on our 10 mil plate and made sure our L&R retriever mate bolted on. Jeff was probably one of our first sponsors, as you see up there on the first side of the board. George bought a couple off him and said we're doing a big project for Timmy Turtle, and he was one of our first guys to jump on, so we just made sure that it all fit. We probably should have done it before we made up all this, but we checked and it fits, and it fits better upside down. So we might even be the first people ever to run an L&R upside down. Hope that's all right, Jeff. Big thanks for helping us out with the project. So what we're going to do is bolt that on like so. We have to make an extra 10 mil bit of plate to get that up a bit higher. Well, that's going to go upside down, and what you do is you drive on, flick that over. It will give you a good demonstration when it's all when we're on the water.
I've always used that one from Jeff. Jeff's a great fellow, he invented that himself. Yeah, he looks after me. WA product.
There you go, Australian made, Australian designed.
Yep.
So if you're after getting on and off the boat, this is like in croc territory or whatnot, don't have to go anywhere near the water. Go straight up the steps on the front, flick your switch on the way up, drive your boat on, drive out.
So for the curve inside there, we wholesaled that 100 mil, got us some 100 mil tube. Right, so we are going to basically cut that tube in half. Our curve finishes there and there, and that'll butt into the bit of flat that we're going to run in there. We'll sand all that off. So I've just marked roughly where it starts to butt into the flapper. Now on pipe, the easiest way to square that line across is to get a piece of angle line. If it's smaller pipe, use smaller angle line. Sit it on the pipe like that. The angle can't move left or right. Line it up with your line. Boom. Let's try that again. Boom. And draw the line. The line's parallel all the time. On the other side, line it up with your line.
There you go. So we're gonna get both corners out of that one piece.
Yeah.
George came up with this design last weekend and we finally cut it out.
Oh my god.
There you go. So that's what our steps are going to look like.
Be another one underneath.
Yep.
Probably about 30 or 40 mil, or maybe what the distance is to that point. And then we're going to box all that in, all the way around. Sand it all off so it all looks like just flowing into that ski jump.
Ski jump.
Another one up there. Another one up there. Right up high. We've picked out some really nice colours to go on this, eh?
Yeah.
So we are going to ever tread the top of these. We're going to ever tread the tops of the mud guards, along with the front and back steps.
And it should tie in with the blue Teflon and the black wheels that Stephen from Goodyear's given us, PDWs.
Well, so we've got the blue Teflon. That's as close as we can get it to that blue, but it's close enough. So we have the black to match the black rims and tyres.
Yeah.
And we're also going to Raptor the suspension.
Yeah.
In black.
All tacked on, ready to weld out corner to corner and then sand it off. And once that's done, we can start working out where the steps are going to go and put them on. We have to cut 3 of them. The bottom ones have to be cut and trimmed so they fit in a little bit further than the top ones, and then we'll box in around it. Finishing up on, took me the last couple of hours to finish these steps. Sort of got the 2 plates cut out and then cut out a strip of 50 mil, 3 mil, 50 mil by 3 mil. Rolled it round on the bench, one side I did flush, rolled it round on the bench, gave it a tap with the hammer, tacked it together, and then the other side I did corner to corner, welded it up, sanded it back. George was unimpressed with my sanding job. I tried my best to clean it up, didn't do a very good job. George fixing them up, but I thought I was pretty impressed with my first full fabrication job. So these are the steps we came up with, and we've just installed 2 of them. So what we're doing, grab that 3rd one. We did the top, as you can see, giving us some space for the jockey wheel. So that's there like that. It gives us enough room to put it up and down. It's always going to be on the max because of how high the wheels are. So we shouldn't have to worry about lifting it up any further, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Maybe if you're going through the sand, you will, but what we're doing is putting these where we're going to do it. So we're going to measure the distance between these 2 and then get a nice even middle step. And then we're measuring the distance from there to there, cutting it out on the bottom one, and it slides in and sits flush like that and tack it on. So very futuristic looking steps for the front of a trailer, hey George?
And winch post.
And winch post. Look at that. Oh, so George just finished up. While I was making the steps, George has welded out all the winch post and then tidied it up. I got in and did the mud guards corner to corner. That all has to be sanded off and nicely finished. So, and then George is going to do all the nice fillet welding all around the trailer, all the fancy stuff. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I've had about a month off. Had to go visit some family, be a best man at my best mate's wedding. We're back up, straight back up, drove straight back to get this thing in, get into it, get it finished. George, did you miss me?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, he did.
Every day, bro.
Yeah, he was. Called me every day. So working on the trailer, first things first, we've got to get this trailer done so we can tow the boat down and get the motor put on it. Yeah. Important that we sort of get this all finished up and registered. So working on the trailer again tonight.
We're working on the trailer for the next week.
Tonight, we're just adding in, what do we got going on, George?
100x6 box, we're running cross members. We're tying that corner back to here. We can't go right through to there because it's suspension, then we're going to move it in and run along the against the angle for the rollers. Just tying all the cross members to each other.
And why are you doing that?
Stronger. 5mm plate.
5mm plate. So we just cut out, just quickly made a template out of the MDF ply. Came up with that just a little bit further so it sort of misses the corner of the trailer there. And then we've just made it flush. And then what you do is you stick Teflon on here to suit. So you probably get,
we'll get one there.
3 strips of Teflon.
One there like that. And then we'll cut ones to go in the centre and we'll just tape to that.
We managed to get in all the strengthened support beams through the middle except for one. We'll find something, get the last one in tonight and then this weekend welding it all out. So that's what we're doing tonight. Make a couple of gussets, make an end piece. So I'm just going to put...
about done, we smacked it.
Yeah, I just put some ply up against that, trace it, and that'll get us the end piece.
Corner on the top.
Yep, so when you trace your line, take 3mm, 4mm off. That'll get you a nice corner to corner. So we've just made a couple of little gussets out of 50x6mm flat bar. Rounded off the corners, got the bevel square to get the angle right. And there you have it. So I've done 2, just evenly spaced them. And then this third, where it gets welded on up here, is sort of your third one. So plenty of strength in that. We'll weld these out on the weekends, but that's pretty much the lead in done. Bar the blue stuff, Teflon. There we go. Let's have a look. Look at that. That's a beautiful view right there.
It's going to be a
yesterday and the night before we got the trailer pretty much 90% welded out. There's a few little bits and pieces and a few little tiny pieces that we got to weld, but it's all structurally sound. Give you guys a look. We drew out a stitch pattern on the 6mm plate and the rail, went through and did the inside first, let it cool down, and then the outside you sort of do every second one. And then come back through after it's cooled down and then go back through and do it again, and then do it on the outside, same thing, every second one, and the same on the top, every second one, opposites, and then go through. Try not to put too much heat into it. So that's all done. George did an awesome job welding on the rails. Camera doesn't really do it justice, but big single run. Look at that. And not a single imperfection in that whole thing. So yeah, George welded up all these, did all the cross members. Along the top, the bottoms are just stitched. He stitched weld all those bits of box on the roller rail, and then we added in an extra piece up the top here just to fill it in. It looked a bit funny without something sitting in the middle there. So we put one more bit of box on its side, sort of tie it in. All the welding done on that. The suspension's all welded out. It's a bit black because of how much heat and gases and stuff. But when this is all acid wash, it's all gonna bling really nicely. So all through, all the little gussets had to be welded all the way along the bottom. So that's all fully welded. We got these all fully welded on, so they should hopefully not be going anywhere. For the shock mounts, and then underneath, that's all welded out. The gussets on the lead-in. So yeah, big day of welding. We stitched the mud guards onto the thing. It still needs to be stitched on the inside as well, down under here. That still needs to be stitched in there, but we've got to wait to get the wheels off to do that. So yeah, massive day on the welder yesterday, but we got pretty much all of it done. So today we were going to run the brake lines, but George has come in this morning, so excited. And we're actually going to try and do this wash down system. So we're going to run you through it. We just went for a quick trip down to Mitre 10 and picked up a few bits and bobs. So we found, what are these? A mister garden connector thing. That's what we're going to be using. We just put the hose on it and it blows out quite a nice little spray. So we've bought a packet of 10 of them. We've got some T-pieces and some elbows ready to go. So George is just making up. What are you making up, George?
Just a little test piece so we can test it on the pump. Just going to cap off the end of that. See how we go.
So that's the pump that we're using there. And then, yeah, that'll go in a box, draw water out of the 2 water tanks in the side rails in a sump that we're going to be putting down along the bottom. And then running the water from the sumps straight into the pipes, which will go down the side rails, and then we'll have a number of misters that, that point, maybe 1 or 2 on the shocks, on the trail arm, and then the majority of it going to be going in towards the brake system. So that's the main part you want to keep salt free.
We just did that little test piece. When we, if we put 2 or 3 jets close together, it's going to just drench it out.
Yeah. We just have to see if there's going to be enough pressure going out of this pump and then pushing into this pipe to push water out of it. So that's the test we're running at the moment. Test it on camera, mate.
Wanker, eh?
Oh my goodness. It works. That's heaps of pressure.
Yeah, but let's just do some hose clamps like thick.
Here we go. This is our little test kit. So we got a pump from Sam Allen that's going to go in the box. We've got a bucket of water acting as what the sump's going to do. Pipe in, pipe. George just didn't do the...
Shut up.
We don't start till 10 o'clock. Need me to hold it?
Yeah, probably.
I'll hold that.
Probably.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. There you go. There's the spray. Oh, look at that. That's going to wash the thing down heaps.
Huh?
That's going to, look how much water's pumping out of there.
Yeah, the more nozzles,
The better.
the better. Look at that.
Righto, we just had a dodgy nozzle. So we've put a new nozzle in there.
Fuck, that shocked me.
Ready? So we're just aiming it at this wheel. Look at that.
You feel the pressure in that pipe?
Yeah. Heaps of pressure. Look how much water's coming off that wheel down there. 30 seconds of that and should be salt free.
Yep.
How good's that?
We're all over it. 60
Yeah.
cents a nozzle. Definitely not $1,000 a nozzle. Righto.
That's beautiful.
Pump's perfect.
Righto, so we've got the first water system in. Left a little bit of a gap at the end here for the hose to fit on and a hose clamp. So leave a little bit of a gap. And then we've got it running down the side. What tube is this? 32 mil.
No, 20 by 3.
20 by 3 mil. There you go. So it's the thicker wall tube, as you can see there. So instead of tigging it, we've just migged it and seems to be all right. But we've got running down the side there, all the way down to our suspension. And then we've put in a T-piece that runs down and we've sort of aimed it at the brakes and the brake caliper. And then we've also got some holes in the side. One goes to the top part of the shocky and the other one goes to the spring. Not that you really need fresh water there, but we're just gonna flood the whole area. So the more the better. And then we'll put a couple more along here as well to really get that whole area drenched. So we did that on both sides. We're just about to put the T-pieces in on the other side, and what we've done is we've capped off the ends of them, welded them out, sanded them up, and then we've cut them on an angle so that when it's sitting there like that, that's facing directly towards the brake caliper. And then we've got one just above it just to put extra water in the area. Water runs downhill, obviously, with gravity. So the higher the better. Should just flood the area and drip down and take all the salt water away. So there's that one done. We've just shoved it in and tacked it there so it fits. If you rotate it on its side, you can slide it in underneath your V-blocks. And then, yeah, so that side's all welded up. We've capped the end. I've just marked where we're gonna drill the holes over there, and I'm just gonna take it out, drill it. George is gonna weld these on and then tack that one in place. And then,
Got to run a pipe through the middle of that. What's the name? So we're going to line a pipe up here with that.
yep.
Hole saw it, pipe through there, pipe through there.
And then it'll be a hose with a T-piece on here and a bit of a hose on that side as well.
Yeah.
And then that T-piece will come up into the
outlet side.
Yeah, so that'll be the outlet side. We'll go straight down into that T-piece. And then that inlet side, we're going to...
Come back round here, we're going to put a sump underneath there. We'll show you that this afternoon.
Yeah.
And another spigot.
But we don't need the sump on it to test the
we just
system
want to
today.
test it with a bucket.
Yeah.
Just to see how much
water it drains and how effective it is. And then this afternoon, we'll put that sump on underneath. All systems, there we go. We've drilled and tapped the extra 3 jets just in the top here, just facing down towards the suspension. 1, 2, 3. We've got the 4 in there pointing different directions on our little T-piece. And then we've got 1 pointing down the shocky at the back there. So we've got a total of 7 jets per suspension. So hopefully we should give it a good old drenching. We've capped off the ends and then run all the way through. We've just used whatever pipe we've got left, but it's all going to be cleaned up nicely and use nice blue pipe to match the Teflon when the trailer's all finished. But we only had a tiny bit of pipe left, so George is throwing together whatever he could find in the shed. So that's our piece that's gone through there. That has to be welded out, but just for test purposes, bit of pipe to connect it up. Come over to the pump. This is not where the pump's going to be sitting, roughly here, but on a sort of, in a box, mounted off. We'll make a little bracket for it to sit on. We've got that, runs into the T-piece, so it's drawing water from both sides of the, it's pushing water into both sides, and then it runs up and this dirty old bit of vacuum cleaner tube into the pump. So that's the outlet. This is our inlet. We've got it hooked up to the battery. We're probably going to put an Anderson plug through to the car so that we don't have to put a battery on the trailer. Yeah, so there's the battery ready to go. There's the positive. That's our suction, and we're just going to use a bucket of water for now. But that's it. Pretty simple design. Started at 10 o'clock and it's about 12 o'clock, 12:30.
I've been talking for weeks about how complicated it's going to be.
Yeah, and we ended up throwing it together. So really interested to see how it goes. Let's drag it outside so we don't get water on George's workshop floor. Look at the big girl. This is the most Frankenstein version of this system working. Yeah, beautiful. We're away, George. There you go.
Might take a while for it to come up into the spray bar.
It's going to suck all the water before it even gets in. There it is. Right, we've got problems, mate.
Oh, hang on. We're losing pressure, Houston. That's how many litres in that bucket? You reckon 5?
9 litres.
9.
I reckon it's a 9 litre bucket.
So that's a pretty good dump, 9 litres.
It's about to finish.
Quick, turn it off.
Good. That was about 45 seconds to a minute to dump that. So this is our sump that's going up the front. We've got a bit of 100 by 50 mil box, and then we put a 6 mil plate, capped it off and welded it so it was all airtight. And then what we've done is we've put it up and we've cut a notch out so where it fits, so when it gets welded to the rail it'll all be airtight, and we've drilled a hole in the bottom of both chassis rails, so the hole will let the water flow into our sump, which is connected to both chassis rails. And then we've put a filler right next to our centerpiece, so just put the hose in that and it should fill up both rails before coming to the top. And then we've put a pickup. We just cut a angle on the bottom of that, so when we welded it in, it's not sucking alley, it's sucking water. And then we've put that straight up and down, so in there, and that's where the water will flow into the sump. That's where it sits, straight across the bottom there. So there you go, easy as that. And that was, we were going to put individual sumps in both sides, but I think this is going to, we're just making the pump box on the side of our over the top wedge piece, front drawbar, trailer, strengthener, whatever you want to call it.
Hang on, let me take that.
So we just measured up about 1.6 metres because we measured the outside. George roughly drew in the shape of what he wants the box to look like. The lid's going to be hinged on this side, so it opens up like that. And that's the pump that's going to be housed inside. Then we took it over to the bender. We marked 1.8 to give room for a bracket and a pump. And then we got 40 mil bent up like that, and then 15 mil at the top there. And we've just cut 90-degree angles on them so they all fit together, and we're just tacking them on where George has already drawn the line. So a pretty simple way to make a box.
Woo, Tim, woo.
Ah, filming you. You're not happy because we did a quick couple of measurements.
There you go, she looks pretty good.
He's not happy with those little gaps. Show him the gap, George. We all make mistakes.
Looks good. Brilliant.
Show him the gap.
Bah.
We're just going to have to do a bit of gap filling.
What am I doing? I'm about to see into a trailer, mate. How about that?
Yeah? Paulie perfectionist.
Hey, I'm the best seeing to mate in Ingham.
Give yourself more credit.
Mate,
Say North
look
Queensland.
At the big head, mate. Look at the head going out.
What are we going to do, Paulie? What's the go?
Well, we're going to start off with 80 grit. Good old 80 grit paper.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to work our way up to 240. Then after 240, we're going to Scotch-Brite the sucker.
How's it going to look, mate?
Beautiful.
There you go. You heard it there for the master. Big thanks to North State sponsoring the build. So you would have seen us sand all the boat with the paper that they provided. So we're going to get into the trailer. There's a lot of stuff that we've fabricated that needs to sort of be taken back because it's got the sand marks all up and down, a few scratches on the mud guards and that sort of thing. We'll take it back. Might even get a bit of penetrol or something, or no? No penetrol? No penetrol on the trailer, but it will be having some flooring put on it for walkways and stuff, so it'll look all smicked when we sand it back. So I'll give you a look. This is the sand marks that we got on the trailer for rounding off the corners and that, so when we sand it all back, it'll all become uniform. We're going to get into it. I'll put the time-lapse camera on. Paulie's going to give me a hand. He's been sanding George's boats lately and been doing a fantastic job. He's going to get into one side, I'll get into the other side, and we'll meet in the middle. Wasn't recording. How's it looking?
Good. It's coming up well. I reckon with the 180 and the 240, we'll take it all out, mate. It'll still look sexy.
Yeah. So how's when you're using the wax, lubricate the disc?
Always.
Yeah.
Always remember to lubricate your sandpaper.
There you go.
Otherwise, she will not tear it off. Good afternoon, everyone. We managed to get Timmy's trailer sanded to 240 today. What intricate parts to turn around and sand, as we all found out today. It's taken us all day. Otherwise, looks like she's come up a tree.
Silver bullet, Paulie.
Have a go at this. Paulie, absolute legend, gave me a hand. So we both did sort of one side of the trailer each, and then we come together at the end and we were just sanding like madmen.
Oh yeah, mate, kicking up a big dust storm today, mate.
Here we are, we're running the brake lines tonight. We're going to work out where they're going to go. Normally brake lines and electrical cables run through your side rails, but because we've turned ours into water tanks, we're going to have to come up with some sort of something else. And because it's an off-road trailer, we don't want the sticks and all that sort of, when you're driving through the bush, ripping your cables or your brake lines out. So we're going to have to come up with some sort of tubing that goes on the side of the rails, exactly like sort of like the water pipe. We'll run them up through some pipe. So just got the brake lines out. Need to say a massive thank you to Currumbin Trailer Parts and Repairs for hooking us up with the brake lines. That's another thing they sent up as part of the package. Comes with a diagram on how to run them as well. So we'll take them all out of their packages, test fit them and see where they're going to run. But that's how they get sent to you. And then we've got, this is the handbrake cable that comes with your Cruise Master kit. So when you buy your Cruise Master, they'll send you what looks to be, they've got the pins and stuff in there as well. And then they go on your handbrake levers, which are down, can't really zoom in because it's a fixed lens, but down on the front wheels there. We've got the brake lines in. Simplest way of doing your brake lines is plug them into your brakes and then run them to where you think they're going to go. We've actually got the Cruise Master send you 4 brake lines. The brake kit that come with Kim, the one that Kim said Kim's got, they come with elbows on them, little 90-degree bends, but the Cruise Master ones come with straight ones. So we come straight out of the nipple there, come follow this. Cruise Master have got this nifty little thing that you can tie your brake line off to. And then this one, we're going to run a tube along the back here, 350mm long, from here to here. And then what we've done is we've drilled holes in the center of our beams just there, and they run through to the center there. And then what we're going to do with that is plate it off with checker plate upside down. So it'll be like a bash guard. So they'll be checker plated from this run here all the way to the front run to save anything going through and knocking our brake lines out. So this trailer is going to be absolutely bulletproof, and it'll be stitched on there with some holes drilled in it to drain any water that might get in there. Same with the front. These front ones are a little bit silly. They've got them so they're hard to put in. You've got to sort of twist your little nipple to get it past the handbrake one. I'm not sure what the go is with that. But yeah, we twisted them a little bit just to clear the handbrake. And then these ones will come up here, same system, up along that little thing for your brake line. But because we've got extra hose on this one, we'll put the tube, we'll stitch it to the bottom of the V-block. So we've got a 250mm tube that'll get stitched on there that'll hold the tube up out of the way. Same thing, goes in there, and then you just follow the diagram. And then you have to do a drop down one. So we've run the hose, a short little piece around into that one that connects the 2 brake systems, and then runs you into your front one that goes all the way forward, and we've got plenty of spare. Big thanks to Kim. Kim also hooked us up with a brake actuator. This is apparently top of the range brake actuator. They work extremely well. They're air over hydraulic. As you can see, we've got plenty left over. We've wrapped it around. This is where I want to put it. George wants to put it in the center here, but we didn't build this hole to show off our brake actuator, so I don't want it there, but so I vetoed it, and that's where it's going to go, and we're going to keep that as an open space because I really like the idea of having the open hole, so we're not filling it full of brake actuator. So that's where that's going. So that's how we did that. Like I said, we're going to cut probably 150 or 100mm long sections of tubing. For our electrical wire, it'll run up underneath the mud guard, out the corner, and then we'll just equally space them all the way to the front. Because it's on top, it's not going to get damaged by anything. And then it'll come up here on the inside, down through here. We'll cut a hole here. We'll run some more tubing along the front here. And then Bob's your uncle, she'll come out right there. So I don't think it was, I actually enjoyed it.
You thought it was fun?
I thought it was good. This is the first time I've had to run trailer line. So here we go, starting up at the brake actuator. Legend, Kim, thanks for hooking us up with that. Then we go down into some tube, which we stole from George's rake because we ran out of tube. Drilled a hole. We could have drilled it closer to the thing, but we were just, I don't know.
We're winging it, mate.
We were winging it, so we drilled it out a bit.
So we're gonna.
So we had space for that.
Tomorrow we're gonna put a bit of plate across there like that, just to stop anything from coming up and.
There you go. So we're going to, everywhere where you can see sort of the brake line, we're going to make some sort of guard for it because George has been real anal about not having anything rip out the brake line. So we're going to make some guards. I'm fine with it. If he wants to do it, that's fine. We'll get it done. In here, we've wrapped up the excess brake line underneath there. The rollers will be on here so you won't see that. We've got fully guarded with 3mm tread plate. Not checker plate. No. Checker plate, tread plate, so 3mm. That's our bash guard, so that's tacked on underneath. We'll stitch that on, drill some holes in it so it flushes the water easy or any dust or anything that gets down inside. Come through, we've made some little T-pieces out of 50x6mm flat bar, rounded off the ends, drilled and tapped that with 6mm and put some bolts through there just to hold the T-pieces on. And then we come to the first line, to the first lot of brake lines, and we had a lot of excess lead on this one, so we ran it up along the V-block. Then you come back in to another T-piece and a drop down, back into another T-piece for the back tube.
Another guard.
Another guard's going here to protect this one. Come through there and we've run it over the top. We were going to run it under the bottom, but just to keep it away from everything, we've run it over the top underneath the V-block. And then this one, we didn't have as much excess tube to get rid of. So as you can see, we've run it along where we've got the suspension mounted. So that's all nicely done there, straight down in there, boom. Like I said before, these ones come with Cruise Master, so they don't fit the standard 90-degree bends. You've got to go with the straight out ones, and then once we've got it into the center, then we've used Kim's brake lines that she sent us. George has started with the electrical tubing. What's going to happen is we're actually running double brake lights because it's such a big trailer. We wanted to make it, yeah, tiny little lights on a massive monster truck trailer. So we're going to go double lights just to give it a bit more beef, and I'd custom made these. It's actually 160mm plate. Oh no, what is it? 150mm. Yeah, and then I had to chop it and add an extension piece in there and then lengthen these side pieces and weld it all on. So that all fits, and then they'll get drilled and the lights put in, and then underneath here the cables will go across, the tube ends just there, and then it'll go to this side through there, and then the cables will get connected over this side, so they're all connected into the same cable, and then we're going to run the cable underneath here, up through here, and then along bits of cut tube all the way up to the end. Big thanks to Sam Allen, David at Sam Allen. I rang him the other day and he's been a big part of this boat build and sponsoring all the gear for the boat. And I said, we're short a few parts for the trailer. Do you want to be part of the boat build? So big thanks to Sam Allen, who's been on the board ever since the start for this.
He said you want to be part of the trailer build. He said, what do you need?
Yeah, he said, what do you need? So we said, what have you got? No. we hit him up for an extra pump for the trailer. So if you're interested in this pump washdown system, Sam Allen, look them up. They've got awesome gear for everything, boat, trailer.
Winch,
yeah.
2,000 kilo winch.
So we've got a winch going on it, off-road winch. He's setting up the pump. We fit it with an 11.3 litre per minute pump. The pump that's going in there will be an 18.5, I think, or 18.9 litres a minute. We're going to flush, I want to chuck the hose on the end and flush the system out because there's metal shavings and stuff from us drilling and tapping. So I'll flush the system out the best I can. We'll attach that stronger pump and it should pump out a lot of water on our brake system. So we're very excited to get that all working. But you saw the sort of half-done, half-baked system. But when it's fully done, you'll see the full force of it. They Sam Allen hinges?
Never. Ullrich.
Ullrich hinges. Oh, there you go. Is that not the sexiest box you've ever trailer? Oh, look at that. Holds itself up. There you go. So we've got some bullet Ullrich Aluminium hinges on there. We finished up the lid this morning. I bent up some pieces 30 by 20, so 50 mil wide in the bender. And then we tacked them on the wrong way first, broke them off.
Not we, you.
Tacked them on the right way the second time round. And George tidied it up, welded it up, tidied it up. Had a little bit of a bend in it, so he hit it with the orange hammer, took the bend out of it. Look at that. Just misses the, imagine if that had a hit, that would have been funny. That's the coolest looking pump box you'll ever see on the side of a trailer. 5% battery, let's make this quick. So just marking out the holes for the brake lights. Ran into a bit of a problem, the bolts come through exactly where the weld was and the mudguard was. So what we've done, put the circular saw in, ground it down so that we can put the bolts on the back. And what we're going to do is make a little cover plate that sort of angles down, give it a sleek look, and also cover up our up. These are the brake lights we're using. I've drilled, I think it's a 10.5 mil hole for that, for your cable to go through, and a 6 mil hole for the screws. So we'll just put that in there like so, and that's how they're going to be. Just even them up there. So we're going to go double light, give it a real mean look, because it's such a beefy trailer, you can't just go small little light. So we're going to go double on both sides. Big thanks to Kim, Trailer Parts and Repairs, for hooking us up with the brake lights. Just to show you quickly how I measured them out. Found the center line and then used this little gizmo. I lined it up on the back of the brakes and put a mark where the screws are, and I put a mark where the, what do you call it is, the cable that goes through, and then you just line it up with your center line, and then dot, dot, dot. There's your 3 holes, and then I cross-reference to make sure it was even, using another black line and the top. So yeah, didn't use a ruler because rulers don't fit in short spaces, so I made my own ruler, and that's how we came up with marking out. I don't think George does it that way, but that was the best way I thought about doing it. So yeah, quick update on the build. Bash guards for the brake lines. Cool little wedge there with a hole in the bottom, so any water, dirt or whatever that goes in there just goes straight out through the bottom. Looks cool, protects your brake lines. We've got it on those 2 at the front there, and then we made a couple that go around the pipe here that bend up, go around the pipe, just protect it all. So no sticks should rip our brake lines out. George wanted to run the, what do you call it, the handbrake underneath, but we went to all this trouble running all the brake lines above, so then we came up with another system to, it's sort of a silly system, the old handbrake that they've got on the Cruise Master, because it comes out and I don't know where you're meant to run it, and it just goes sort of straight up like that, which is going to be not protected. So what we're going to try and do is route it, because it doesn't have a 90-degree elbow on it, so it'd be good if you had a 90 or even a little bend so that you could run it up behind this, and they put another zip tie thing on there so you could zip tie it up behind. That'd be great. And then we want to run it, so we're going to try and come up with a system that holds the handbrake on there, but it's going to be a bit of a tight thing, and then straight out up. And then I followed the Cruise Master system with a little bit of 3 mil plate. I made some zip tie 90-degree angle in the bender, drilled some holes. I think it was like 8 mil hole for your zip ties, and they're 20 by 20 mil, 200 mil long. So we're going to zip tie the handbrake to that. That'll keep it nice and neat on top, not going to get damaged. And then we came up with a little bit of a plug system to hold the handbrake in place, so that'll go in there. You have to cut the hole in top to get the wire through. just work for once. There you go. So that goes down in there, drilled our own. So we came up with that. They send you some weld-on ones, some steel weld-on ones, but obviously being an aluminium trailer, we had to come up with our own custom ones. And then George has just quickly run some pipe, the same pipe we've been using for everything, on there for the handbrake cable. So we've got underneath, start up the front there, and look at that. So he's welded on all the little pipes to take that cable all the way through. So the last point of being underneath is this high point at the front, and then it goes up on top. So it'll be clear of everything. Hopefully it should never rip out. What do you reckon, George? Yeah, good. Yeah, George is happy. Show us what you've done, Paulie.
Mate, well today I've gone ahead, done 240 soft pad all over your trailer, mate. Took a lot of scratches out that you left behind. Anyway, we've gone ahead, done the 240 over everything, soft pad, and then I've gone through and I've done the Scotch-Brite soft pad, mate, nice and slow. Right, and took majority of your scratches out, mate, and brought it up looking sexy.
So what's left to do?
Mate, just the inner parts of your trailer, mate. Your slides where your boat goes on. And we're more looking at all this, mate, where it's all water stained. Alright, I've got to go over that with Scotch-Brite, mate, soft pad to take it all out. Okay? And then she's ready for acid.
How good's it going to look after the acid, Paul?
Mate, she's going to look really nice, eh? All I can say is it's come up a dream. It's taken a while. It's taken me all day just to get the 240 soft pad and the Scotch-Brite soft pad done. Because I've had to take out a lot of imperfections, mate.
There you go. So that's what it looks like after you 80, 180, 240.
180, 240, 240 soft pad with Scotch-Brite soft pad afterwards.
There you go. That's what aluminium can turn up like. So acid washing and some sea foam, decking foam going down, and that's what she'll look like.
Well, we're right into it, eh?
Big thanks to Paulie.
We're getting it ready for the Brisbane International Boat Show, eh, Paulie?
Yeah, mate, she's near show quality, this sucker.
She'll be wrecked by the time that comes around. When's that?
Mate, we'll take it down there, mate, and we'll show everyone up.
Yeah.
We'll turn around and show them what we can do here in North Queensland.
We've got two things left to do on the trailer. Swing out drawbar, drop down spare wheel carrier. Still have to work out we've sort of half done not really half, we've sort of chopped it out. We'll explain how we're going to do that, because that's a pretty important part. Anyone who's making a trailer who wants to swing out drawbar.
Yeah, we're only gaining a bit over a metre, but...
Yeah, 1200, that's it. I know a lot of blokes who'd like the extra length, so you'd rather be looking at it and looking for it. Tonight, we just went through and we've made all the templates for the Evertread, so we're going to put Evertread on the trailer. George is paying for all this, kindly said, righto, well, I'm going to put all my logos all through it, and he's going to supply the Evertread for the boat and the trailer. So big thanks to George for that. Can't thank him enough, because I really think that adding the decking foam or Evertread or Sea Deck or whatever really does make your stuff stand out, gives a really nice professional look. So we've just run through and made the templates tonight out of that same plywood you've seen us use throughout the whole series. This took us a couple of hours just to mark out, so we used that same, and then we just cut, we left gaps. Likes to leave a couple of mil gap, 5 mil gap around, so you can see all the welds, because George does a fantastic job on that, so there's no point covering it all up. We just do them with a square corner, but then when you ask Evertread to do it, they can radius all the corners. So all these corners, yeah, beveled edges, radius corners. Here we go, show them what we're going with.
So this is what we're going with. Hopefully we can get it. And see, it's black, blue and grey. And they bevel the edge. And they normally run a border about an inch all the way around. My logo will go down into that, so the logo will be into the blue. So we're running that, Teflon,
blue
rollers.
Blue rollers, and then all that suspension's been painted black. Yeah.
It's an off-road trailer, but we've just taken it to the next level. Like, the finish on it is better than the finish that we do on the boats. You know, we've gone to that much trouble. Well, Paulie has.
Yeah, Paulie spent. I helped him for one whole day, and then Paulie spent another day and a half going over it. adding the extra scotchy and redid, because we jumped in and out of it and scratched all the surfaces doing a few things on the inside. Paulie went over it again, then scotched it. So
but the acid wash, this trailer's going to be transformed. You guys will see that the acid wash just.
Yeah, I don't think I showed you.
That was, yeah, late Saturday.
So this is just 3 mil. We've chucked it in the bender. I measured the angles with the bevel square, and I dropped down about 70 mil. The further you drop down, the stiffer. I could get about 70 mil out of it. So bent it at 90 and then just fully welded all the way around. That's my first attempt at welding 3 mil to 6 mil. So I had a bit of fun there.
No, you did well. So explain to them how it works. So you step up onto the trailer.
Yeah, so we've got, so the whole idea of the steps right down the back there is we can step up on the trailer, or if you are in a spot, we're going to have a winch on the top. If you're in a spot where you have to winch it, you can walk all the way down. Instead of running a walkway all the way down the centre, we've got lovely wide mud guards. So we've added in a walkway through the centre here, and then when it gets wide enough, you can jump over onto the side, walk down, all the way down the back here. You can stand between these 2 steps that we put in at the back, and then attach the winch and winch your boat up if it's too shallow to drive it on. That's the whole idea, and it's on both sides, so you could walk down one side, walk up the other side. I don't know. That's just the idea we had. Instead of running, you've run rails all the way down on the inside, but we may as well use that's just adding extra alley and also making it harder for us to, we would have had to cut holes and stuff like that to access all our bolts. So instead of running the walkway the whole way down, we've used the gunnels. And another working bee on the trailer. We've probably got 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs to do, and she's complete. So first job for the morning is we're going to get this swing out drawbar done. I don't know where we finished up with it, but we cut our length of box, the same as our trailer, 150 by 75, 6 mil, and we've put tacked on a couple of little box underneath, and then Jameson packers underneath it just to get a proper weld on our plates that are going on top. So our plates that are going on top are our 10 mil by 100 by 10 mil plate, and we'll cut that to length, and that's going to go in there like that. Then we'll drill a hole and we'll run a spigot through there that'll go down into this bottom one. I'm going to cut these up, just take that angle there and put it on these 2 plates just to follow the angle of the trailer. So I'll cut them off, and then we'll get them tacked on, and then we'll get the other plates tacked on at the back. So that's our first job, is this swing out drawbar. And then our second one is our drop down spare wheel carrier. It's got to go on here. Got a little bit to work out about that. Third job, we've got a winch from Sam Allen going on top of here. So we need to come up with a mounting plate, whether it's drilled and tapped or bolted. Gonna have to come up with a little bit of a, bracket for that. And then finally, right down the back, we've got to cut out a little bit of our trailer for our transducer. So that's got to come out of the back of the trailer. And then once that's done, she's all complete. So we're gonna get in today and try and finish off those 4 jobs and hopefully get out in the backyard and rip the suspension off it.
Righto, so we've got to lock it in when he's travelling. So we've just come up with an idea. We're going to run some 10 mil plate along here, not a radius. We're going to go square and then a radius corner, and we're going 160 wide because we've got some 160 wide flat bar over there. That'll have a 25 mil hole in it. It'll spigot this box with some 32 mil tube. There'll be another one underneath. So when it swings around, it'll actually support its own weight on that bottom plate, and we'll lock it in place with a pin for when he's travelling. And then that pin becomes the lock-in pin when he swings it around. So yeah, it's a bit of fiddling around. Probably about 3 hours work there.
Stubby's just finished up the 2 locking plates for when we're travelling. He's just clamped them on, pushed them tight against the trailer. There you go. And he's left our little, is that 1.5 or 2.5? 2 mil. 2 mil. 2 mil packer in there just to give it a bit of space. So it's flush on the bottom, 2 mil on the top. And we're just going to tack that.
2 for 7?
2 for 7.
Good, mate.
Yeah, no worries. We're going to get through it today, aren't we? It's picked up some milk. So there you go. So there's the first one, and then we're going to do something similar to the back as well. Get that tacked on with some packers and tacked them on, clamped them, tacked them on. And then we come up the front. We got the 2 pieces that we cut out, and we put a 2mm packer there, and we put a little bit of box and a packer in there and clamped them all on, and then tacked them on. Put the pin in and tacked on a little stopper down the bottom so the pin doesn't fall all the way through, but we made sure that everything lined up perfectly, and it does. And then show them, Stubby. Kick it out. So there we go. Swings out, because we had to make sure, and then we thought it was going to be harder, and it turned out to be perfect first go. So we had to make sure that when we swung it out from this end into this box, that this one was totally lined up with that one. Otherwise, when we swung it around, it wouldn't fit. So all the angles are the same. And I don't know whether we fluked that or whether we did it all right.
I think we jagged it.
We jagged it. And so now all we got to do is drill a 25mm, or what was it, 20mm?
25.
25mm hole. Is that 25, is it?
Yeah. Put a spigot through there, the same as what it's...
Oh yeah, yep, corner to corner. So this one will get, when we take it out, we'll show you, but this one will get welded corner to corner and then tidied up. So that fits through there. And then the pin that goes through this one, you'll pull out. We haven't got the pin yet, but you'll pull out of this one, and then you'll put it in here, and then boom. Yeah. We'll probably weld that out with the box in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it doesn't bend and whatever.
Let it cool down before we take the box back out.
Yeah, and then the same with that one. Then swing it round and put it in there, weld them out, and then we've got this front section to do, and we'll put a little 2-bolt, what do you call it? Ball hitch. Toe hitch. We'll put a 2-bolt toe hitch on the front there. So we've got to probably cut this at a bit of an angle.
No, I think he's cutting it out. Long here and then up. And then plate it.
Yeah.
Then bolt it.
Oh yeah, there you go. But I'm just working on, this is the winch that Sam Allen has sent us for the off-road trailer. So big thanks to Sam Allen. They've also supplied the pumps that are going to operate our self-washdown system. So I'm working on the bolting system for that. Just having a little bit of a complication with the bolt going in. These ones don't line up perfectly, so I might have to drill them out a tiny bit bigger just so these nuts line up with the bolts. But yeah, big thanks to Sam Allen for sending us through. I just came up, this is 40 by 40mm angle, and I just cut it on a bit of a sexy angle. And what we're going to do, weld that to there. We'll bolt it onto the winch first, and then set the winch up and bolt it on. So it gives us a little bit more height for pulling the boat onto the trailer. Also gives us access underneath to tighten our nuts on and bolt it on and off. So yeah, big thanks to Sam Allen hooking us up. I'll let you know how it all goes. But yeah, 40 by 40mm angle, 6mm thick, and I just measured the holes. It was 77.5mm to the centers, and marked out where I wanted them. There's 10mm away from in there, and yeah, just drill them out with an 8mm drill bit.
This has got to be all fully welded yet.
Yeah.
Fully, but as much we can get on it from the inside.
Yep.
Then we made this little cover plate to go over. It'll be all fully welded and tidied up, and
there you go.
Smick as.
So that was cut out of about 100mm tube, 3mm tube. Did you just close it up before you put it on there, did you?
Yeah, I had to manipulate it a little bit, just as you can see.
There you go.
So it just had to be closed in a bit so it'd fit nice.
So there's that one, and then we've got this is the spigot when it folds out. Yeah. When it folds out, so that the pin goes in there, and then this is the spigot when you're traveling along and it's beside your trailer there. So just cut them just a little bit shorter, held them in, tacked corner to corner, and then we'll weld, and then we'll burr grind it out, and then clean it up like the rod lockers. So there you go, 3 in there, and she's almost ready. What do you reckon, Stubby? How you going with it?
Yeah, good.
Killing it.
Gear around, puts the 4 bolts back in, and then boom, takes it away.
Beautiful.
There you go. So George has just come up with the spare wheel carrier that drops down and acts as a bit of a tow out.
It's not a 5-minute process to drop it down. So when you get bogged, he's going to be wanting to use this wheel when he's bogged to the arse. So we can wind it. He can wind it up. There'll be 4 bolts that Timmy's going to undo. And the reason why I went with 4 bolts, it secures everything there solid. So he'll undo his 4 bolts, and the wheel will rotate round like that. And then he'll put his 4 bolts back in, hook himself up, lower that wheel down onto the front wheel, and pull himself out of the bog. Doubles up as a spare tyre carrier. Simple, strong.
Well done, George. That looks good. Just finished off the last 2 jobs in the last couple of days. Stubby, big thanks to him for giving us a hand. Did an amazing job finishing off a couple of things. George designed this drop-down spare wheel carrier, and Stubby welded it out last night and this morning. You want to give him a demonstration? So 4 bolts, and then it just rotates. I think, is it 50mm pipe inside a 60mm pipe? Yep. So there it goes, straight down on a spinning spare hub. And then that's a steel spigot that runs inside all 10mm boxing and then's bolted through. We've got 10mm plate, gusset that up to give that heaps of strength. Got another gusset just here, and then this is a 10mm plate that runs in a little, and then that's a 100 by 50mm box. And then this is also a 100 by 50mm box by 6mm thick, 10mm plate, couple of extra gussets here. So, and then we just boxed it in with a bit of 5mm plate, I'm pretty sure, on the top and bottom. So yeah, that's it there. Pretty simple design. It's not quick, so if you get stuck in a bog, you just have to have, I'll probably keep a small little toolkit in my little box up there. Just take it out, undo the bolts, spin it round, and that way you know that it's going to be very strong towing in and out of bogs and stuff like that. So there you go. Hopefully we'll never need it, but it's there if we do. There you go. Come around to the swing out drawbar. We've still got to make a second pin. The second pin, because it's not really structural, we're just going to do out a 25mm alley pipe. Swing arm pin, we've got a stainless steel one that goes in and out that we got machined up the other day. And then, yeah, had to line it all up. I showed you the process of all that. Swing it out, Stubby. There we go. So that's it there, and last night Stubby added a cool, what's that, 5mm? Yep. 5mm step. So this step's extremely high to get started on. So what we did is we added a nice little shape there just to put your foot on, and then it's a little bit less high to get up to your first step. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Really like the design of it, so there you go. They're the final 2 jobs. She's going outside on the kegs. I don't know if I showed you the added in at the back here. I cut 20mm out of both sides. We've only got the transducer. This is so that when your boat goes up on the trailer, that your through-hull transducer doesn't scrape. So only got it going on the left-hand side, I'm pretty sure, but down the track, if I was to mount another one, I wanted to have I didn't want to have to modify the trailer as well, so I thought I may as well do it now. And it's going to have no effect on the boat finding the centre of the trailer and going up. So did them both, and looks even. So yeah, if anyone sees my trailer and you wonder why I had to do that, that's for the through-hull transducers. So yeah, all the suspension's been ripped off the trailer, and we've got pretty much, and jockey wheel, everything off that's other than aluminium and stainless steel. Oh, and the Teflon stays on as well. So we're just about to acid wash the trailer. George acid washes everything before it leaves the shed. What does it do, George?
Oh, acid wash it, bud.
It just makes it look pretty, doesn't it? Takes
it. Get rid of all that
black
yeah,
welding.
A bit of the blackness from the welding, just cleans everything up, makes it all uniform.
There you go. So this was, what's this, Alley King acid. And there was about 1/3 of it left in there, and we're just going to fill it up, and then that'll be your straight solution. We've also got, is there any acid in that? I don't know.
There's a bit in there.
Bit in there?
We don't know what the mix is like, I can't remember, but we'll just see.
Yeah, so you're looking it does say aluminium 1 to 20, but George goes about 1 to 3. Give it a really...
When you spray it on, it needs to pretty much foam up instantly. If it foams up instantly, you got your mixture.
Right. George is going to give us a quick demonstration, and then we're going to put the time-lapse camera on and just do the whole thing. And any secrets to it?
Yeah, you got to spray up, down, up.
Down, up.
Go up, down. Always from the bottom up on everything. Up, bottom up, bottom up, bottom up.
And that stops the runs?
Yeah, you don't get any streaks in it. Once you get a streak in it, you can't get it out.
Oh, really? There you go. So let's get into it.
And you can also, like, I'm using a really expensive spray bottle. It's for acid. It has really good seals in it. Just go and get your $20 or $10 garden sprayer. If you're doing a one-off job, it'll do it too. Alright, so you need to go from the bottom up. See, it's foaming instantly.
Do we have to do underneath the trailer or not really?
No, just what you can see.
All right.
Nobody's going to lay down and have a look at your trailer from underneath.
Well, it's that high, anyone could look underneath.
Well, if you're that worried about it, mate, you can do it because you're going to be on the gun. I'm going to be on the hose. Come on, straight away. And you'll see the difference between that and the alley that's on top.
Look at that. Do we have to do it twice? Or?
Yeah. Always 2 coats.
There you go. So look at the difference between what George just did on the side and what, well, it's hard to tell on the camera, but
yeah, it's got 2 different colours.
There you go. Look at that. So it's going to look brand spanking new, even though it is brand spanking new, but it's going to look even more brand spanking new.
Yeah, all the stuff where it's welded and it's black, it's all going to come nice and clean.
There you go. I'll set the time-lapse camera up because it's pretty simple. So that's all you have to do. Spray it on, 15, 20 seconds, hose it off. So I'll put the time-lapse camera on, you'll see us methodically work through the whole trailer. So everything's off. Do you want me to take this drawbar off? There we go, guys. It's all acided up. Look at it. The welds just absolutely pop when you do that. The whole trailer looks amazing. Like everything. Can't wait for you guys to see this thing on the road. This is next level for a trailer, I reckon. What do you reckon, George? Have we done well?
You did all right, mate. Eh? It was your first go at aciding.
Oh yeah, I went over it a few times, but we got there in the end. Not many streaks. There's a few just on these bars. They don't seem to acid up like everything else, but there you go. Look at that. I'm stoked with this. I can't wait to see it with all the suspension painted black, rims, and then the Evertread. George has just installed the L&R Boat Catch system, Boat Latch, yep. Retriever Mate.
Retriever Mate.
Jeff sent this from Western Australia, designed and builds the products. He sent it over at the very beginning of the build. He's probably one of our first sponsors that jumped on board. So I finally got it on. Had to do a little bit of customization, the boys did, to get it to fit with all our winch post and everything.
And we're hoping that running the system upside down,
oh yeah,
it's going to work. So it normally doesn't sit that way. It's reverse, but because we've done our winch posts, you know, the way we've done it, we've had to slightly modify it and run it in reverse. Maybe we should have, we didn't pre-fit it when we were at the stage of making the winch post, but anyway, we've reversed it and we're pretty sure it's going to work.
There you go. So yeah, as George was saying, this is probably the first time one's been mounted upside down. We didn't ask Jeff whether we could do it or not. George just did it. So I think it's actually better because you can flip that open and the switch is on the top. You're not looking for it underneath. A lot of the times it's underneath the trailer. So it's on the top, ready for you to go. You can see exactly what you're doing. So in that position there, that's when the boat will catch when you're backing it down the ramp.
Drive forward and it releases it.
Drive forward, releases it, and then you just reverse back off the boat. And then George is going to flip that over, and that's your boat catch position. So just before you back down onto the ramp, flip that over, and George and Stubby have had to add an extra lug in here for the winch to retrieve it. If you're retrieving it on the winch, you can have that open and just run it straight through and hook it onto there, but in this case we're going to have it up there just so it doesn't interfere with the catching position. And yeah, so George is going to drive the winch forward. Big thanks to Sam Allen, we got all that installed.
All right, here we go. Bada bing, bada boom.
Beautiful, look at that. Straight in there, so it works upside down and the right way up. So I reckon
plenty of clearance underneath there. No issues with it coming off.
Yep. So yeah, a lot of little intricate bits to make sure it fit perfectly in the small little gap we had, but we managed to, George managed to make it work, so yeah.
So we welded her up.
There we go, that's all done. We'll get this out. We've got a few things to finish up this afternoon or tomorrow, whatever, and then the boat comes off the trailer and the trailer gets fully finished. Just putting the stickers on, looking after the people that have helped out and looked after me. Goodyear, Brownie's over here doing a great job. Friday afternoon, Brownie. Loving it.
Yeah, loving it.
Yeah.
Tropical Friday, man.
He got people yelling at him from everywhere and he's just over here helping us out.
Right.
He's a good guy.
Can you hold on that, George? Please. What about the assistant?
Yeah, he's doing a good job. I was getting down that way.
Yeah. Sorry, man, I couldn't get a better looking one.
Nylac, that's a new sponsor that's going on the trailer and we haven't really introduced it yet, but you'll
see it tomorrow.
Tomorrow you'll know all about it. They just look so good. I just went around and looked at the laminating process of these stickers and just breaking up a little bit early. Oh, they look so good. Should be all cleaned up tomorrow. He's agreed to do it every 6 months, re-wrap it so that they stay fresh. So it's got a bit of stretch in it, Brownie.
Yeah, it's 3M280 series we use on vehicle wraps. Well, we use it on pretty well everything because it's got all directional air release behind it, so it's really easy to work with.
Yep.
You can use what's called a 180, but this one here is a top of the line product, so we just use the top of the line on everything.
That's so smig.
Put that on soap and water, mate. It's still yeah.
Beautiful.
You reckon?
Yeah. We used to put them on here, stubby, back in the day.
Here we are, coming into the final stretch of the trailer, making it all look pretty. Because it sat outside after we did the acid wash, it got a bit of dust and moisture and water stains and that's because it's unprotected alley. So what we've done is we've taped up everything that had to be taped up, like the winch, the jockey wheel, that sort of thing, anything that's going to be affected by the acid. And then we've quickly gone over the trailer just one more time, give it a hit with acid, and then then just soaked it down with water, shammered it, brought it inside, and we're about to introduce you to a brand new product that's going on the trailer. It's like, what's that other stuff? It goes on the boat? Penetrol. It's like Penetrol, but it's like you don't put it down before you paint over it. It's a clear coat. You can put it over the top of paint. It doesn't chip, doesn't crack, doesn't yellow. Spacecraft cruising protection, as it says on the bottle. Apparently it's been to Mars and back. So there you go there, Nylac. What's his name, Jeff?
Yeah. Is it Nyalic?
Nyalic.
Nyalic.
Nyalic. So
yeah, Jeff, he's a great fella.
Yeah.
Jumped on board for Timmy, said here's a couple of tins, Timmy, $600 worth of Nyalic.
there you go.
And yeah, we're about to apply it for the first time.
How can you apply it? A couple of different ways, eh?
You can do it with a roller, you can do it with a foam brush, but being a trailer there's so many little nooks and crannies, so we've opted for a spray gun. Low pressure.
There you go. George just run down the shop and grabbed the spray gun for the air hose that he's got in the shed, and he's just half filled it full of Nyalic, and we're just going to go over the whole trailer. So we've just done a small little section over here. I'll film him doing it, but there you go there. So it just brings it up. Beautiful shiny. It's very hard to see.
Amazing.
But all it does is going to protect it, so now it won't get those water stains and anything that sits on it, and it's not going to affect it.
Either, like it's hard as apparently.
Yeah. So George has done Penetrol on trailers before, but then it's very hard to clean, whereas this Nyalic and does chip off on the after going down bumpy roads and that sort of thing. This stuff's meant to be super hard protection, so shouldn't chip. You can kind of see the gleam in it. There you go. Look at that. So yeah, it's going to bring it up real shiny. George is going to get in and sort of spray down the whole trailer, and then we'll give it a good look. And yeah,
We're outside in the sun.
there you go. So
You can see a few marks there. You can probably see that in your camera.
yeah,
Like that's just from the water drying too quick before we dry it off, but I'm confident that when we spray it, that'll just disappear.
Oh yeah, I didn't show you. This is the stickers are all on the trailer too. Brownie finished up yesterday on the stickers. So I'm very happy with how they turned up. Trailer parts and repair, we got the Nyalic logo on there, significant signs. Thanks Brownie for doing an awesome job and getting it done in a hurry for us. And then on the back here, Stubby.
How's it going?
We've got the Goodyear Autocare Ingham. So big thanks to Stephen for hooking us up with rims and tyres for not only this, but he also gave me a great deal on the car so that I can have matching wheels all the way through. So yeah, because I would have struggled to tow it with my original wheels on there. Wasn't high enough.
It's going to come out amazing, mate. It goes on so easy. I'm not a painter. Not a painter watching this going, yep, we can tell that, mate. Backyard, guys. Grab your spray gun. Have a go. It almost looks like it goes on dry and peely and then it just glosses off.
Beautiful. Just giving you a look at what happens when the acid dries a bit too quickly before you chamois it. Bit hard to see, but oh, there we go, that's better. You can see that. George will coat that with this stuff. There you go. Oh, you can see that better. And we'll just give that a quick hit, and then I'll show you what it looks like after he's hit it with the Nyalic. Like I showed you before, that Nyalic just absolutely took all those little imperfections, little, what are they called? Little acid marks.
Water stains and acids.
Yeah, just took them away. Just go.
Water stains, eh?
We didn't really coat this too much. We just put a real thin coat on because the Evertread's going on it. But everything else we gave a good coat, even all our suspension, the wheels, everything. And the trailer's just come up next level. So
Yeah, next level.
now it won't when we drive it out, leave it in the rain, bit of dew on it and whatnot, it's not going to leave any water stains or any dust marks. So very impressed with that. Very easy to spray on. We went through what, a whole tin?
Yeah, but we did the wheels too.
Yep, went through a whole tin. Wheels got done, and then we're gonna, as soon as this is done, we're gonna the Evertread, we're gonna tie shine up the tyres. But yeah, it come up absolutely smick. It's hard to see through the camera like how good it actually come up, but when you take it out in the sun, all these are just gleaming, like all the welds. George has done a fantastic job on the welding, and they all just pop, and they're going to stay that way for the rest of its life, hopefully. If not, we'll just bring it back, acid wash it, and spray some more stuff on it.
No, you'll have that 5 acres, mate, in your shed, and you'll have your Ferraris, and you'll be right to do it yourself.
There you go, George didn't do it, he's too busy.
But we'll come and help you. Me and Stubby will definitely come and help you.
So here we go. George splashed out for me.
More than once.
More than once. So this,
More than happy to.
he's gone and got some 9mm Evertread for both the boat and the trailer. So this has been got cut a while ago, but it's really good to finally see it going on. And
A little bit of dog hair on it. Lily's been using it as a home base.
she has not. But here we go. So we're going to put the Evertread on. So that's George's job. I'm not allowed to help him with this. It's a bit of a zen moment for him. So George wants to say a little word.
Yeah, mate, big thank you to Fibre Finish. Deal with them all the time. And Janae does a great job. So if you're looking for this stuff, guys, and you're in the area, hook them up. Fibre Finish in Townsville.
Righto, George. Stick him down, mate.
Gonna stick them down, bud.
Makes them that pop even more with that black on top, right?
Righto, so we're just filling up our chassis rails full of water. George is doing a great job of that. We've got, show you down the back here, you've got 2 bungs that you undo to let the air out. Best if you can get the trailer as level as possible. Yeah, just so it fills up evenly, but if not, doesn't matter. You still manage to get a fair bit of water in there. They're about 110 litres we worked out last time. And then take it down and I'll show you what we've come up with. So we've got a pump in here from Sam Allen. Let me just brighten that up for you. Got a pump in here from Sam Allen. It's just a fresh water pump, TMC, 40 PSI, 16.3 litres per minute. Oh, 1 second. There you go. And then we've got, it's not actually that complicated, but we've got our pickup. So it goes through here, down here, into our sump, down the back there. Boom, picks the water up from our sump down here, and then straight up into your pump. It's wired up, the power's coming directly off the solenoid, the winch solenoid. So that's where we got our power from. So instead of running the power all the way to the car. And then once there you go, so that's where the power comes from. And then Christian's wired it up. He's the electrician that's been helping me out on the job. And we've got an override switch here. Just brighten that up for you. At the moment, they're around the wrong way. So on is off and off is on. So that's an override switch. So if you want to use your hose, we've got it plumbed up 2 different ways. You got the hose, and then you've got a switch on a relay and a red arc timer. So we've got it set up at the moment. So if you hit this button, I've fluked it and it's on exactly 1 minute. Don't tell me how to change it because I still haven't worked it out. I'm going to ask Christian. Might need to set it 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, but at the moment it's a minute and it seems pretty good, but we'll just, as we go, we'll be able to change that. The switches are on the back here, so we'll fiddle around that and see how it goes. Yeah, Christian's kindly wired all that up for us. And then the water pushes down into these pipes, down to the chassis rail, and hoses down all our suspension and our brakes. But if you don't want the water going down there, I went and grabbed one of these valves from the local, what is it? Plumbing shop. And all you do is turn this valve off. So we'll turn that off. We'll hit the override switch. So not the timer switch. That'll turn the pump on. And then we've got a stainless, something going on there. Beautiful. So we've got a hose here, and that'll run on the timer switch for 1 minute. If not, we've got an override switch there, but we're gonna, that's all right, eh? Shower or hose the outside of the boat down.
Get the gear off, Tim. Come on. Yeah, when you're remote, come out and want to give the boat a bit of a hose down. There you go. Give the hose down.